environment. They are migrating some of their workloads to the public cloud, and multiple public clouds are there. So this kind of hybrid cloud, the multi-cloud, the cloud environment is accelerating, and the workspace is dynamic and roaming. And then this is very diverse, and as you know, there is lots of end users also, like partners are connecting to the customer site, and users are connecting, and some of the contractors, the freelancers are connecting to the environment. So nowadays there is no such thing called perimeter in the enterprise. So the perimeter is everywhere. We need to protect the boundaryless environment. So we need to assume the perimeter is everywhere in the enterprise, and how we are going to protect, we are going to see that one by one. And before moving into the topic, I will just give the brief introduction about the checkpoint approach in the seven principles of zero security model. So zero security model, it cannot be achieved by a single product in any of the vendors. So we need to be relying on multiple things, because we are going to protect the data, the workloads, the network, everything related to the zero security model. So in checkpoint, we have something called checkpoint infinity. You may have heard about these things, which is our unified management and reporting kind of thing. So you can you can integrate all the solutions, whatever checkpoint offering, into one single unified console. So you have access to everything here, and now we comes to the threat landscape. So as I said, the environment, everything, the cloud infrastructure and workspace, and number of devices, IoT devices and everything, and number of users like contractors, freelancers, and partners, everyone connecting to the customer environment. So as IT environment is changing, and so as the evolving threats landscape. So threat landscape also evolving in the similar fashion, and here we are going to see how the legacy security approaches are no longer effective, and how we are going to follow this zero security model approach. And as I said earlier, this is our zero trust security principles. So here we are starting from the network, zero trust network, zero trust data, zero trust devices, zero trust workloads, zero trust people. So we are going to follow these 7 principles. So earlier, how we achieved these things. Earlier, there is nothing called boundaryless environment. Everything inside the boundary only. For example, if you take the network, you may not micro segment that. You just segment it to DMZ zone and LAN zone and WAN zone kind of things. There was no micro segmentation required during such time, and there was no default any. We allowed everything, because we just made something as trusted things. For example, when users are connecting internally, and we made internal users as trusted users, and we allowed everything for the internal users. So now the environment is not like that. We should not trust anyone, even if they are connecting internally, externally, the Active Directory user or VPN user, or they already have the security proper security installed on their endpoint. Even if they have everything, we should not trust any such user as the trusted user. So every user by default, they will be treated as suspicious things. We should not rely on anything. And this is introduced by the Forrester Wave, the research team, this model, and all the enterprises are trying to follow this model. and you can see at the bottom. So 40% of organization already implemented this model, already began to implement this model, and 12% fully implemented. They completed this zero trust security, and 18% planning to implement. So there is no doubt in this. All the enterprises and organizations across the world, they are following this approach, and more than 12% they already fully implemented, and 40% they begin to implement. And let's see one by one. We'll cover about the zero trust, all the 7 principles, whatever mentioned here: the networks, data, devices, workload, people. So you may have this query in mind: how we are going to follow these 7 principles. So is that using the single product in the checkpoint, or multiple things are involved in each principles? How we can follow this approach? So before going into the principles one by one, I will just give some introduction about the zero trust security workshop. Actually, we are the first one. Checkpoint is the first vendor conducting the zero trust security assessment for all the enterprises. So if any checkpoint partners already here in this session, if any of your customer want to follow these zero trust security principles approach, or if they already implemented and want assessment from us, or if they want any ideas or any assessment report, we will visit the organization, and we will provide the complete assessment for their infrastructure to follow this zero trust security approach. And let's start with the zero trust networks now. So what is the zero trust network, and how we are going to follow this approach? You can see at the bottom. I think the screen is visible to all of you. I hope the screen is visible. If it is not visible, you can put it in the chat. I will just zoom it, and you can see at the bottom there is the architecture for the zero trust network. As I said earlier, now the environment is boundaryless. We don't have such thing called perimeter. The perimeter is everywhere, and the private cloud is there, public cloud is there, and 3-tier applications are there. For example, the front-end facing application server will have the connectivity to the back-end server, so that the lateral movement of malware is possible for these 3-tier applications. So we need to protect all these things through micro segmentation of the network. So we are not going to trust anything. So earlier, what we used to do, something called northbound traffic and something called southbound traffic, which is also called as inbound and outbound traffic. So whatever coming from the van, we used to trust that as untrusted. We used to make that as untrusted, and whatever going out of the land, we used to make that as trusted traffic. And for example, if users sitting inside the office and they are accessing the internal servers, internal ERP, CRM, or their internal intranet backend website servers or something, so we used to make that as trusted traffic. We are not inspecting anything. So now the environment is changing, and we should not follow that same approach. Now we should do the micro segmentation. For example, even if the front-end application is there and back-end database is connected to the applications, and there is communication between these two servers, like kind of 3-tier environment, we should follow this zero trust network model. We should which is called east-west traffic inspection. So inside the east-west traffic, inside the VM infrastructure or Hyper-V infrastructure, VMware infrastructure, everywhere we need to follow this east-west traffic inspection as well, in addition to the north and southbound traffic. So we should have the you may have this question in mind, how we are going to micro segment, and how the checkpoint will help us to micro segment and achieve this zero trust network. We have the segmentation firewall, you know about that. In addition to the data center and perimeter firewall, we have the segmentation firewall, micro segmentation things also, which can be deployed as the virtual appliance, or you can deploy it as the physical appliance. That will be customer based. So the segmentation can be achieved in either way. So they can deploy this in between these micro segmented zones, and all the traffic between these front end application and back end server will be inspected. And there is some best practices given in this slide. You can see identify, classify, map, group, deploy, define. So we need to follow these six things to follow this zero trust network model. And we need to classify the assets. Where is the database related servers are there? Where is the smart building management systems are there? And where is the highly restricted servers are there? Like that, we need to classify each and everything. Where is the cloud asset? Where is the private cloud asset? You need to classify each and everything inside the organization. So by using these things, you can granularly control the traffic and inspect all the traffic which are moving around the servers, so that east to west traffic inspection is possible, and lateral movement of malware can be prevented using that. So as you can see, the hacker will first try to exploit the vulnerability present in any of the server using social engineering attacks or something. And once they have the access, they will try to find out the critical assets, like the database server or something, the critical assets inside the enterprise, using the escalation privilege attack or brute force. And they will follow the multiple things, the SMB vulnerability, or lots of things, WMI vulnerability. Through lots of things, they will try to find out the critical assets in your enterprise, customer enterprise. And after finding out the critical assets, they will try to exfiltrate the data from that. So critical breach happening during that time only. Once they find out the critical assets, they will do the exfiltration. They will create the antibot communication, the suspicious things, CNC communication, and so on. And they will exfiltrate all the critical assets. The security breach happened during that stage. And this is how the lateral movement of malware can give the damage to the enterprise network. And through this micro segmentation, we can prevent such things, the malicious lateral movement with granular network segmentations. So this is how we can achieve. And we covered what are all the challenges with the zero trust network, and through which product in checkpoint we can achieve this zero trust network. We covered both things. So we have the checkpoint infinity, which will connect all the products. So checkpoint infinity will be used to achieve these 7 key principles for the zero trust security model. But for the zero trust network, the segmentation gateway, either it will be in the virtual firewall or physical firewall to achieve these things. So the checkpoint used product used is firewall, and infinity is the product which will cover all the zero trust security things. So we'll move into the next topic now, which is called zero trust people. So what is the challenge with the zero trust people nowadays? So as I said, there is lots of end users. They are coming as the contractor, the partner, the roaming users. They will be coming from everywhere, and a hacker can also come as the trusted users. So we should not trust any people. For example, if they have integrated with the IPsec VPN, the client VPN, the SSL VPN. Once they have connected to the SSL VPN, they will be coming. They will be trying to access your backend servers and everything inside the enterprise. So even if they connected through the SSL VPN or IPsec VPN, or they are integrated Active Directory user, or they have any such things, but we should not trust that user as the trusted user. The hacker may uh, try to take the credentials. The account takeovers are happening across the world, and you also aware about the account takeover things. Email is the main threat vector, and account takeover is the main attack, which is happening using the phishing scam, and they will stolen the credentials, or they will brute force the weak credentials. So account takeover, the stolen or weak credentials, everything happened due to the hacker. So we should not trust anyone who are coming to the enterprise. So here we give five approaches to achieve these zero trust people. So what are all the five approaches? You can see one by one. And authenticate user identities on the network level rather than relying only on the application layer. So what it means? Uh, so you need to authenticate user at the network level. For example, you have Office 365 environment. Once user log into the Office 365 environment, they should not be trusted as the trusted user. For example, I'm Javed from Redington. If I log into my Office 365 environment as Javed, it should not be considered as the trusted user. Maybe hacker may stolen my credential, and they can log in using my username and password. So in this case, I need to create some firewall policies and everything to for the identification purpose. For example, if I have Active Directory or something integrated with a single sign-on and multi-factor authentication integrated with my Office 365 and the Microsoft environment, then network level authentication is possible. So the firewall will inspect my traffic, or my our cloud guard source will inspect our traffic, and after doing the multi-factor authentication. For example, as you know, whatever products support the SAML 2.0, like Okta, the Google Duo, and Azure AD, everything supports the multi-factor authentication with the cloud guard source, our CASB solution, and using the firewall also it can be done. The multi-factor authentication can be done. So using these things, we can create the context-aware policies. Who is the exact user trying to log into my system, log into my environment? Either it could be Office 365 environment or your internal server environment. It could be anything. So you need to authenticate user at the network level, not at the application level. Yeah. So once you authenticated user at the network level, the firewall log monitor and everything will make sure the particular user is logged in, and he is trying to log in. He is trying to access some servers. So once it is tested at the network level, the application level, we don't need to care about that. And by using these things, we can achieve the zero trust people. And we need to detect the anomalies as well. For example, we need to create the suspicious things, create the baseline policy to create the suspicious unsuccessful login attempts. For example, if my login failed for 2-3 times, the event should be created automatically, and anomalies should be sent to the administrator. This user is trying to log in multiple times, and they could not log into such things, and And geolocation policy also we can enable, for example, the user from high risk regions like China, Russia, if they are trying to log in South North Korea, if they are trying to log into the uh, login from the specific geolocation, we can create the policies to detect the anomalies and unusual time and locations, and so on. Like that we can also create, and this can be done using our firewall. The zero trust people can be achieved using our firewall for creating the context our policies, and cloud guard source can also be used. From that also you can create the single sign-on and multi-factor authentication and everything. So by this way we can uh, we can't trust all the peoples, like even if the legitimate users or internal users trying to connect to the corporate environment, we can inspect all these things before giving access to them. And the third principle is zero trust devices. And zero trust devices, what is meant by zero trust device? So protect all the devices from the threats and isolate them if compromised. So as you know, the current environment, the due to the pandemic situation now, more than 20% of usually 20% of the people work from home, and they will be using the corporate owned device. Now the situation is not like that. So the user may have the BOE devices or corporate owned devices, and lots of IoT will be there. IoT enabled devices also there, and the medical devices will be there, and smart building devices will be there. So multiple devices will be there which will have access to our corporate network. So we should protect the vulnerability in the devices, and we should protect all the traffic from the devices. So how this can be made? We have the zero trust device principle, which can be achieved using our Sandblast agent and Sandblast mobile. So for example, uh, I'm trying to log into my Office 365 environment using my mobile. If I have a Sandblast mobile installed in my device, it will check whether the mobile is compliant or not. If my device is jailbroken or compromised, or rootkit is installed, or any kind of threat detected in my mobile, it will not allow access to my corporate network. So this kind of things can be done using our Sandblast mobile, and the Sandblast agent also our advanced endpoint protection. So in that also you can create some outbreak prevention policies. For example, in 5 minutes, if I detected more than two attacks or three threats in my endpoint, it should be isolated automatically from my network. The endpoint should not connect to my network. So like that also I can create some outbreak prevention or isolation policies. So in this way I can protect the malicious devices from entering my networks, and block infected or vulnerable devices from corporate asset can be done by using this way. And uh, and uh, if any malicious apps or phishing attacks or bot attacks are going on, then I can protect my device using without the MDM, only using our Sandblast mobile, which can be possible. And segment IoT and OT networks. So segmentation, we already explained about segmentation in our first principle, the zero trust network only. How the segmentation can be done using our segmentation firewall, which can be either the virtual or the physical things. So, so what are all the things used for the zero trust devices? From the checkpoint side. So Sandblast agent, Sandblast mobile, and the segmentation firewall. These three solution will be used from the checkpoint side. It does not mean for achieving every principle we need separate solutions. Like if if firewall, the micro segmentation firewall is installed once, then it can be used to achieve all the 7 principles whatever provided here. And now comes to the zero trust data. This is our fourth principle, and this is the very difficult things to achieve. And if you go to any customer place or any CIO, CTO or very big enterprise and ask them among these 7 principles, what is the difficult to implement in zero trust security, they will tell the zero trust data is the difficult thing, because controlling data nowadays is very difficult. Data is residing everywhere. As you know, it is on the cloud, it is on the workstation, it is on the mobile devices, it is on the database servers, SaaS applications, everywhere, multi-cloud environment, hybrid cloud environment. So, so protecting the data in rest, data in transfer, and this will be very difficult nowadays. So data in use, data in transit, data in rest need to be protected. Which is very difficult nowadays. And among these 7 principles, as per the checkpoint survey, the zero trust data is the most difficult thing to implement. So how we can implement these things? Using data encryption. Data encryption means it is not about the data transit. For example, if the data is moving from the the client computer, or from one branch office to another branch office, we may use the IPsec VPN or SSL VPN to protect against the encrypted things. But it is not about the data in transit only. We need to protect the data in rest also. How you can protect the data in rest? Using the full disk encryption. So we need to enable the full disk encryption at the corporate owned laptop, and which is very difficult to implement. It will impact the production also, because you know how much time it will be taking for the encryption and everything, and at least 1 hour will be required based on the data, the hard disk capacity, the SSD, the residing in your laptop. And as per the compliance, if the full disk encryption is installed, and even if the device is lost or stolen, you can wipe out the device very easily, so that hacker won't have access to your data. And as per the many complaints, it won't even treat it as the stolen or theft devices if you have implemented already the full disk encryption. So the data encryption is that much important nowadays. And in addition to the full disk encryption, we need to follow the file based encryption also. For example, if any sensitive data which is matching the template, for example, if I am the financial institution, I will follow some complaints like PCI or PCI standard or IBAN or something else. And if I am the healthcare industry, I will follow the HIPAA compliance or something, and GDPR something will be there. So when this template is matching, the sensitive data should be encrypted automatically when it is passing through the cloud environment, or when you are copying the data to the to the hard drive, or to the pen drive, or the Dropbox, or Box, or the SharePoint Online. So any of these cloud applications, or the any of the external or peripheral devices should be controlled. So this is how the file-based encryption will work, and you need to follow the full disk encryption also to achieve these things. And by this way, we can protect the both data in rest, and the data in motion, and data in use. So what are all the checkpoint product will be used to protect protect these things, achieve these zero trust data? You may have this question in mind. So as I said, with the sandblast agent, we have some complete license, the sandblast agent complete license, which will come with the full disk encryption, the file based encryption, and everything. And we have CloudGuard SaaS also, so which is our CASB solution. So which can be integrated to your Office 365 and G Suite environment using the API and mail flow rules. So it can protect the data in real time. If any sensitive data is passing through the cloud, passing to the cloud applications or anywhere, it will be blocked immediately, and the notification will be sent to the administrator as soon as possible. So this is how we can implement the zero trust data. We'll come to the zero trust workload now. So zero trust workload, this is also complex nowadays, uh, because nowadays in the cloud environment, the provisioning and decommissioning of the workloads is happening frequently. For example, multiple stakeholders, multiple teams will be involved in the cloud environment. So they will be provisioning and decommissioning the workloads frequently. And for example, I'm from the application team, let's say DevOps team. I want to develop some applications and run some code onto the things. And in on-prem, these things are not possible because I may have certain code which will have the capability to run in certain environment only, say Java platform or some other server platform only. So provisioning such platform in on-prem is not possible. So what I will do, I will just provision such things, such platform and the cloud as soon as I have the requirement, and I will run certain code onto that, and the testing team will be there, and the security team will be there for fixing the bugs. So multiple stakeholders will be involved, and they will be creating multiple workloads on the cloud very frequently. So whenever the workload is created, we can't make sure the security is within that workload. So we need to automate the security. Whenever it is provisioned, it should have the security by default automatically. So which can be achieved using our Doom 9 product, which is our workload security product. The company name was called Doom 9, and Checkpoint acquired that company recently in 2019, and we have that capability to protect the extended visibility and automated protection and everything. So how the Doom 9 will work? Doom 9 is the cloud-based product, and you can integrate the Doom 9 using the API connection to your Azure or AWS environment or multi-cloud environment. So automatically it will protect the misconfiguration. As per the Gartner, 95% of security breaches happening in the cloud happening due to the misconfigurations of the servers and applications only. So when you have the Doom 9, our advanced workload protection product solution, it will check for the misconfiguration, the application security, and automated security. It can provide all these things, integrity monitoring and everything. So your workload will get automatically protected, and our cloud guard source also there. It can also protect everything, the north and south traffic and everything. So this can be done using these things. So for zero trust workload, we have the cloud guard IaaS and the cloud guard SaaS, and Doom 9 product for the application misconfiguration and everything. So these things are used to protect the workloads. So these three are the main products in Checkpoint side to achieve these zero trust workload principle. So now come to the sixth principle, visibility and analytics. This is also one of the main things, because many security attacks and many security breaches and everything happened due to the problem in the visibility and analytics. So normally it is taking around 66 days to identify and contain a breach. So for example, if you take the Sony attack, they stolen around terabytes of data, and it was not happening in overnight or in 2-3 days. The hacker they exploit one server using the escalation privilege. They found out the critical asset, and from there they escalate. They exfiltrate the data for over 6 months. So for over 6 months, if the attack is happening and if it cannot be detected, there is problem in the visibility and analytics module only. So and lots of security breaches and everything happened due to the concern in visibility and analytics only. And as per the checkpoint survey, uh, the zero trust data is the very difficult to implement in zero trust security approach. And the next thing is the visibility and analytics. This is also very difficult to implement because, as you know, the threat vectors are increasing now. Our IT infrastructure landscape is changing, means the threat landscape also increasing, the threat vector also increasing. The lots of applications are used by the user. For example, the shadow IT problems are there. The users from the different departments, different teams, they will be using multiple applications in the enterprise, because the business justification and approval, this process, since this process are taking more times, they just install the applications, and they are trying to use that. For example, they are using the Evernote, the box, the Dropbox, without the IT manager approval. They are using multiple things, and this kind of shadow IT problem also there. And visibility for entire traffic. As you know, the multi-cloud things, the hybrid cloud infrastructure is there, and bring your own device, and corporate own things, and the roaming users, the dynamic users, and dynamic workforce. This will create the visibility problem in the enterprise. So uh, we should have the visibility everywhere. And as you know, checkpoint has unified management and reporting kind of things, and we have the smart dashboard, and we on the cloud also we have the infinity portal, and you can integrate all the checkpoint product into one single console, and you will have the unified visibility everywhere. Whatever happening in the in the things, and security logs will be into the one console, so you can log each and every activity happening over the network, and you can provide the forensic and incident analytics, the EDR functionalities, and everything into that. So so as I said before, as per the checkpoint survey, the implementing the threat visibility and analytics principle is the most challenging, which was responded by 44% of the security professional across the globe. And yeah, that's it. Now comes to the last topic, the automation and orchestration. So we already covered the 6 topics related to the zero trust security. Now comes to the 7th topic, automation and orchestration. So whenever the API integration is possible, we should integrate and we should automate the process, because nowadays the manual intervention and the admin configuration, the manual configuration is not possible for such huge environments. Let's say you have the MDM product, any MDM product, or the bring your own device, or a corporate own device trying to access the servers in your enterprise. Let's say like that. And uh, and how you will know what kind of, like, if the user is legitimate or not, if the device is legitimate or not, how you will follow the context aware policy, the identity policy, and everything. So you need to integrate the solution with the identity solutions, like Cisco IaaS, or Microsoft Active Directory, or anything through the API. And with the workload protection also, we have the Doom 9, which has the API integration. And with the CloudGuard source also, we have the API integration with your Microsoft Office 365 and G Suite environment. So we are supporting automation everywhere through the API, and customers should leverage all our functionalities using the API, which will automate everything. And in addition to that, we should have the SIM system also. Like it should have the unified threat intelligence, and security incidents should be possible with proper event tagging and everything, and so that the indicator of compromise and IOC everything will be collected automatically, and the automated sweeping everything happen over the EDR, and threats will be detected automatically. So automation and orchestration is very important, which is the last thing. So these are all the 7 principles required to implement the zero trust security approach in the enterprise. And Checkpoint is the first vendor come with the workshop, free workshop for the zero trust security approach. So if any of your customer, or if any customers are here want to follow this zero trust security approach, you can contact us, the Checkpoint SE or anyone. So they will visit your enterprise and check what is going on in your network, and the detailed assessment and everything. The report will be submitted related to the zero trust security approach, how it can be followed further, and what is the security gap analysis, and everything can be done by us. So you can make use of that workshop, the Checkpoint zero trust security workshop. And this is the interesting insight. This survey giving the details about what are all the challenging principles to implement in your organization. As I said before, zero trust data is the very difficult things, and 50% of security uh, professionals voted for the zero trust data, which is very difficult and complex. And next thing is the threat visibility and analysis. As I said, the shadow IT concern, and the ever-changing dynamic and the dynamic workforce, and the IT infrastructure change to the multi-cloud and hybrid environment. It is giving rise to the threat visibility issues, and data in rest, the data in transit, and data in motion, giving rise to the issues in data related issues, the zero trust data related things. So these are all the two major challenges to implement the uh, zero trust security approach. But we as a Checkpoint with a single license, for example, if the customer own the Sandblast complete license, they can implement the data encryption, the file based encryption, the Sandblast mobile, the Sandblast agent, everything related to the BYOD and corporate owned devices, and all this environment it will secure. So this includes all the solutions which will cover the zero trust security. And if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat. I will resolve all your queries now. That's it. The session is completed, and if you have, like as I said, if you want to conduct any assessment in any customer site, or if you have any questions related to the zero trust security model, you can reach out to us. We will help you in achieve these things, achieve these complaints and everything. I assume there is no questions as of now. You guys know my contact details and everything. You can reach out to me if you have any inquiries or something related to the Checkpoint. Thanks for joining the session. Thank you all. I'm stopping the session now.